got to send me a request. Oh, thank you so much, Blue Beautiful. Okay, here we go. Blue Butterfly. Thank you so much. Okay, let me get Melissa, okay, because I don't want to keep her waiting. But I'm coming back to you. Thank you so much. Am I doing it? Y'all just giving me the hearts and everything. Y'all are happy today. Hopefully, Melissa. Hi, you see me over here just talking to everybody. Wiping my lip gloss, trying to figure it out. Well, don't you look beautiful?
Thank you. You too.
Oh, thank you. We kind of magic up in here. You know what I mean?
I know it. I love the color. Let me adjust my situation.
I like the background. And you're a flower girl, too, because, you know, I love those flowers. Love those flowers.
I am, 100%.
Okay, well, you look beautiful. Okay, so I was going on with this introduction, but I'm going to just, because I was like, y'all have to have seen her. I don't know if you heard me up here talking. I'm sitting, because, first of all, you've done so much, and me being in fashion and really this part of my career in image and celebrity style and all that, you have an absolutely amazing bio. Like, you have done so much. So I cannot, Melissa, your hair, they say, is fire.
Thank you.
I'm just saying, all right?
Girl, I threw this thing up. You know what? I've been adjusting to getting ready, you know, especially during this time. It's so easy just to throw it up, because twisting it out and wearing it down, oh Lord.
Yeah, you know, I don't have any, so this becomes like very, very easy to put some water and, you know, those wrapping paper. Thank you for Victor Lopez. Them wrapping papers.
That's right.
So she finished. Okay,
That's
wait.
Right.
But for those of you that don't know this beautiful, fabulous, brilliant woman, her name is Melissa Hibbert. But I just want to read just a little bit of the bio. Will you allow me to do that?
Sure.
Is that okay? Okay.
I'm
just the top part.
Let me adjust. You know, one thing about IG Live is like you don't know how you're gonna have to adjust based on who's.
But you look beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you so
Am
much.
I too close to all y'all see is face and cheekbones?
You're good. I think you're straight. You're totally
okay. You good? Yes? Okay. So just a little bit. So, okay, let me just talk it though. You are basically the go-to beauty and lifestyle expert in Hollywood, which means it is 4:07 where you are, because you are in California, right?
I am.
Yeah. But this was interesting to me. So not just that you are a licensed esthetician, but you have a bachelor's degree in pre-law and a master's in business. Come on with the smart magic. Okay, hold on. Okay, wait. Your work has been featured globally on networks such as, that means not all, but such as Bravo, Lifetime, WeTV, OWN, you know, OWN is my favorite because I do fix my life with a yonder. Yes. TV One, VH1, BET, and let me just give some of the magazines and publications. Glamour, InStyle, Brides Magazine, Essence, and the list goes on. Okay, you are an author.
Yes.
Because you have an amazing book out. But you are a mommy mogul because you have the most beautiful little girl that I have seen. Well, mine is grown, so I can say that, right? In case she get on here. And you are a strategic beauty brand consultant. Welcome, Melissa. Woo!
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
you so much. That's my introduction. That was long, right?
It was great. It was perfect. It was flawless.
Come on. Thank you so much for being here. So let's just get into it because, you know, I started this just so that women can see other women of power and purpose during this time of quarantine. And then it just turned into something else. But, you know, when God got his hand on stuff, you have the vision, he gives the provision, he provides. So here we are, right?
Thank you. Yes.
But so that other women could actually see themselves in other women that are actually doing it and understand that they can do it too. So real quick, I just want to know, how do we go from, I don't know what was first, esthetician, pre-law, master's in business? Just give me a little bit of background.
Well, you know, education first, you know, so that was first. And so, you know, my background in beauty started while I was in high school. You know, that was really my passion that I discovered in high school and enrolled in beauty school while in high school, and but decided that I wanted to go to college after high school as opposed to going right into beauty. But once I got to college, the dorm that I lived in had an abandoned salon. So I became an entrepreneur while in college.
Come
so,
on with
I was
it.
taking a full load as a pre-law, undergrad student, and also doing hair and makeup on nights and weekends. So beauty has sort of always been with me, but I also valued education, and I understood that it was power. I understood that once I had that, no one could take it away from me, and I could always have, I can always glean on that knowledge at any time in my life. And also it gives me an opportunity really to also, now that I'm a mom, be an example for her in terms of how far she can go. The only thing that I don't have is my PhD, and who knows, maybe one day I'll get that.
But come on, evidently you can have what you want to have and get what you want to get. So at any point in time, you can do it.
But through the MBA, getting my MBA and working in corporate America for 14 years, in 2012, I really felt like I felt the shift, I always call it. And so I needed to express myself. I needed that creative outlet, and beauty was always it. So I stepped away from corporate America after 14 years of working for some of the best brands in the world, and stepped right into beauty, and I've been here ever since.
Okay, so wait. So when you were in corporate America, were you working for beauty brands or different brands?
I was
you
not.
Weren't.
The only people that knew about my passion were friends and family who benefited from it freely.
Okay. Hold on. And then they try to be slick. Then they're like, "Oh, girl, I'm gonna come over." And then when they over, so what you think that I should wear with?
You know how many I guess I can call it practice. I don't want to call it, what I mean?
Yes.
I gave away so many of my services to friends and family, but it was okay, because for me, I was still getting paid to do to do my day job, my 6-figure day job. So I was like, okay, cool, whatever.
Yeah.
And so, but yeah, it always been with me. And the challenge with working in corporate America, especially when I started getting into advertising.
Yeah.
When I got into the advertising agency, CoverGirl was one of our clients.
Right.
And I wanted so badly to work on that account, but they put me on accounts like Burger King and Ford and Coca-Cola, which are all fine and great companies.
Yeah, because you were able to.
I wanted that CoverGirl account so bad, but nobody on that CoverGirl account was moving. So therefore, I could just enjoy it from afar.
Right.
But there was this one day where one of the women in the company got sick, and they had a big pitch to CoverGirl that they were doing, and they needed someone to be a part of the pitch team. And I remember the president of the organization walking down the hallway, and he stopped me. He said, "Melissa, step into the conference room. I want to talk to you about something." And he offered me the opportunity to pitch, and I said, being a team player, like, what about such and such? And he said, well, they're not here right now, and beauty. Mm-hmm. And when he said that like lit a fire in
like a confidence. You read your shoulders back and said, I do know beauty, don't I? Like, yes, I do.
Yeah, because you know what? And it just goes back to, how I always tell people, how people see you is matters. So when you walk around like, oh, I don't care, and I can look any way I want to look and act any way I want to act, well, you know what? People are going to believe you. If you don't care about you, then they're going to believe it.
Absolutely. They are. Absolutely. And that's why, my quote is, there's power and purpose in your image. I mean, the story, we are all storytellers. Yes. From the moment when no one's watching, it's you and God, because someone's always watching, to the moment that you walk out the door, you are telling a story of who you are. So I always ask, but what story do you want to tell? The one that you're telling now, is that the one that you want to tell? Is that how you want the world to see you? Is that how you want to show up? Because it does matter.
100% matters. 100%
so then you lifted, the fire was lit. You get in there and you just show out.
Yeah, the fire was lit, but it didn't give me the opportunity to work on the account. But it gave me the window that I needed, the preview, because God always gives you a preview.
Oh, come on, honey. Oh, sorry.
And so it gave me the preview for where I was going, where it was leading me.
It does.
5 years later, right here,
Yes.
So I just, I just give all glory to God for, just that just honoring my life in that way. And all of those things have happened throughout my life, and so I know that, his hands are on me always.
And it all matters. And even when we don't know it, it's all working together, and it's all working for you. You know?
Yeah, it's working for you. I mean, that's why I say, you can't, don't covet someone else's situation, right? Know that when it's for you,
in your time, nothing
they will come
can
to
stop
you. You
it.
don't even have to go ask. I'm walking down the hallway.
Let me tell you something.
I'm walking
no
down the hallway.
No strain, no struggle. Listen, no strain, no struggle. When God got his hand in something, it just happens. One thing after the other. In fact, you don't even have to know the next step. All you got to do is keep your eyes focused. Okay, God, here's what you gave me. I don't even know what's next. I'm going to do what I can. You're going to do the rest. If he needs to redirect you, he redirects you. But when something is supposed to happen and he wants it to happen, and because it's already planned out, it's all, yeah, the end from the beginning. We just don't know it, because if we knew it all, we would probably mess it up for ourselves.
Yeah. Right.
So as Marette Brown Clark said, God is so nice. He's so nice and so kind that he just says, okay, you just keep looking this way. Here's the vision that I gave you. That'll keep you focused, and you just keep going. And the thing is, the process in between is what people sometimes get frustrated with, right? Mm-hmm. And so how did you know? This is the interesting thing, because this is my second career. So how did you know when it was time to make the ultimate shift? Like, was there something in you while you were at that corporate job, always this thing inside of you saying, I mean, this is good, but there's something else. There's something else. There's more for me.
Yeah. You know what? I think that the message was always coming to me, but mm-hmm. I sort of was resisting it. Mm-hmm. And it was always the message of you need to do something more creative. And I really couldn't articulate it, because honestly, no one was really, I didn't have the connection between being a makeup artist and loving beauty and then the level of success that I have now. That I didn't have a model of that. I had tons of successful women in business, tons of C-suite women who were my bosses, who ran companies and who were the head of, organizations. But in beauty, it still wasn't as tangible for me. Yes. So while working in corporate America, I started to get a lot of jealousy. There was a lot of intimidation. There was a lot of negative things happening with people that I was working with. And it wasn't because I was doing a bad job, because I was actually doing a great job. But it was really about saying, if you don't answer my call, if you don't move yourself out, I'm going to push you out. And I'm going to push you out through, I'm going to push you out through the people who you showing up every day, giving all of your energy and your time to when they don't even deserve it. I'm going to show you, and I'm going to reveal it to you and how they treat you. Yeah. And then you have to say, what are you worth? Yeah. Are you just going to settle for someone treating you and denying you and disrespecting you
and dishonoring you
or are you going to honor yourself?
Come on.
And so sometimes it doesn't show up as rosy. Sometimes it's going to be those moments where there's going to be a physical manifestation of evil,
absolutely,
and negativity that's going to cause you to really look at how you see yourself through them and how they treat you. And then you have to then choose, because when you are them. Yeah, you are them. Because when you choose God's truth, right?
And because this is what I'm clear of, is that when I choose to honor myself and honor who I am honoring God. Yeah. Because I am showing up in the fullness of who he created me to be. Sure. And the thing about that is, here's what I also know for sure. People see the excellence and the goodness and the gifts in you a lot of times way before you do. Yes. And if they cannot handle it, there comes, who does she think she is? And you don't even recognize. You're like, no, I know I'm good at this, but they see so much more than what you actually see.
You become an imminent threat.
Absolutely, and you don't even know why.
You don't even know why.
And so when that happened, you were like, okay, either I have to make a choice now. Like I literally have to make a choice.
So I took a sabbatical. I took a sabbatical and went to my parents' home and retreated to my parents' comfortable home in Oregon. And I just needed a break. And so during that time, my job was to really get the answer. I prayed and I fasted and I just got still, because I couldn't understand. I was making six figures. I had the lifestyle that anyone would want in their.
Why you weren't happy? What was happening?
I had more than that. I was abundantly living. Working in corporate America, but everything just was not. I just felt like unfulfilled, and I knew something was pushing me to a greater purpose. So during that time of fasting and prayer in my parents' house, the answer came over a random makeover that I decided to do on my mom while she was cooking in the kitchen. And I looked at her Facebook page and I was like, you need to update your profile picture. And so I was like, when you get done, because we're the same complexion and everything, I was like, when you get done, I'm going to do a makeover on you. I'm going to post it. Till this day, it's like the most engagement she's ever had on social media. And remind you, this was like 2012, right?
Oh, they know good pictures, honey.
Yeah, so we went out, I did her makeover. We went outside in the yard and we got some good natural light and took some pictures and we posted it. And let me tell you, her ego and her everything, her essence was just lifted. And not that she was in a bad place, but
yes,
we know that beauty is power. Whenever you give someone the tools to see themselves as their best self,
absolutely,
that's a priceless thing. And that's for me what this industry means. And so in that moment, I got the answer. Because I didn't have to pay for, she didn't pay for that, and I didn't have to pay for that moment. That feeling I couldn't get.
But the feeling that you got was a feeling that was priceless, like, and it's like a light bulb moment went off, like, this is it. I always tell people, I get asked all the time, well, how do you know when you're in your purpose? And I said, well, a lot of times that you don't, but the beauty of it is now you get to search you get to literally try things and work that out. But the moment that you get in a space where you just feel like, I belong here.
Well, it's the thing that you do naturally. It's the thing that you do.
That's your passion that you would do if no one paid you.
With effortless ease. It's the thing that you would do when no one is watching. It's the thing that you would do for free. I remember
absolutely.
And they were like, oh, that's cliche. No one believes that BS. I'm like,
it's the truth.
Okay. I'm like, okay, well.
You don't believe it, but I'm living it, walking in my purpose.
I'm going to go over here and live my best life.
And I'm happy. And it's that thing where, you don't get full fulfillment until you are walking in your purpose, because we are all created, chosen, specifically designed for a purpose. And it's the moment when you figure what that is out, that life changes for you. But
also I learned, that purpose isn't static, it's dynamic. So you're going to always find more in what you do.
Listen,
where I started in 2012 is not where I am now, and that's because I understood, I think the core of it is beauty, but my purpose is constantly rising as I honor more and more of my gifts and do more and more, offer more service.
It is. And the other thing is, I think that I think learning, really just cultivating just my friendship and my relationship with God, then you start thinking about, well, hold on, you're God, you've got everything, you are a God of an abundance, and if I'm your child, who am I? That means that it is all available to me. And so even in the thing where you don't feel super qualified to do, because he normally doesn't put you in, he always gives you something so much greater, and you're like, wait, now I know this and I'm good, but am I qualified to? And it's in those moments that you can decide, okay, I'm the Lord, but I'm gonna trust you and I can do this. Or you can shy away from it. And if you shy away from it, those are the moments that we live in regret, which I just decided, I'm not. If it's in my heart and I see it and I want to do it and it's presented to me and I got this thing like, oh, maybe I should try. And the only reason I won't is because of fear, or I feel like I'm not overly qualified. Oh, no. I'm going to do that. Everything, the movie that I produced, I was like, how I fall into this, Lord. And then actually doing it and then it being on Netflix.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of like, so what was one of the greatest moments in your life where you were like, I know there's a God, like, how did I get, no, how you have those moments where you're like, how did I get here? What was the moment, the time, the place?
Professionally or personally?
Okay, give me both. Whatever.
Well, I mean, personally, it was absolutely giving birth to my daughter at 41 years old,
Come on, wait, okay, you and another girlfriend of mine, and y'all just, I'm like, and all three of my children are grown, literally grown. 29 is my oldest.
Oh my goodness. You got grown people, I've got a toddler. No, I mean, listen, if you listen to these these OBGYNs and, these so-called professional doctors tell you that after a certain age, your eggs you are old, and
Yes.
you're this, and you're
Yes.
that, and you're less
Yes.
likely to have all of that.
Yes.
I didn't listen to any of that. But if I had, I certainly would be where a lot of women are, fearful, lost faith, giving up, didn't do it. So for me, I chose to, believe that was for me. To be a mother was a part of my destiny and part of my purpose. So giving birth to her and pushing her out in 7 minutes and seeing her beautiful face.
Oh God, he shined all upon you.
All upon me. So that would be, I think personally, one of the greatest and most magical experiences of my life. And I think about it every day when I look at her. I'm like, and now she's a toddler. She's like tearing up the house. And I'm like, dang, you used to be this thing that slept for like 5 hours.
Oh, girl, you just wait. You better enjoy every moment because you blink your eye and then they're like, no, Mom, no.
Right. I know. So I'm enjoying every bit of it. I would say professionally, oh my God, I've been in a lot of spaces and places that have been so incredible. Even starting when I was working in corporate America, I used to work for Michael Jordan. And I worked for Michael Jordan for 14 years. Oh. Now, I mean, for 4.5 years, not for 14 years. I was in corporate America for 14, but I worked for Michael Jordan for 4.5 years. Now, this is someone that I grew up, we all admired him. And, now I'm working side by side with him. I, travel to places where he, where he's holding business. And, and I was a kid when growing up, played basketball, and I could not, my family couldn't afford a pair of Jordans. We just couldn't. We got what we could. And I played basketball. I was a good basketball athlete, but I didn't have the best gear.
How did I not know that you worked for Michael Jordan? See, this is amazing. It's like,
well, on the bio it says Nike Jordan, but whatever.
Listen, okay, but so go ahead.
So I was saying that, so I growing up, I coveted those shoes, but we couldn't afford them.
Yeah.
So here I am, 14 years old on the basketball court, wishing that I had Jordans while everybody, well, not everybody, but mostly everyone else did. And I had to play in just some kind of random Nike shoes. Fast forward, 6-7 years later, graduated from college. I'm in a room where as an employee, I can get access to thousands of Jordans for free.
Come on,
because I'm an employee. So there's moments like that I'm like, I used to cry about not being able and feeling inferior as a teenager and a basketball player because I couldn't get these Jordans. Now, I don't even have to ask for them. I can get as many as I want, as often
when I want. Period. Somebody said period.
Right.
What in those moments?
I've had many of those moments where I know like God is in the place.
Me too.
But that's one that I remember the most because I remember how I felt my self-worth was lacking because I didn't have that thing. And then God was saying, I'm just promise you something bigger. You want one shoe? I got 1,000 shoes.
I will give it all to you have, and now you have them all at your disposal.
And you crying for one, and I got 1,000 for you, just 7 years away. Just stay faithful.
That's the thing that I think if we could just get our minds to even think on such a grander scale than we do. We're thinking here and he's thinking here. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, what you're upset because you don't have this, but what I got planned for you is this. Just hang on for a second. Just hold on. It's coming. So then with that being said, the flip side of that is tell me a moment in your life that you thought was maybe the worst moment in your life that you've overcome. And I say that to say because this thing really is balanced out. Of course, the summer times make the winter look like they're nothing. But when you're in the midst of it, like we're in the midst of the corona, we're in the midst of COVID, we're in the midst of a whole bunch of things. We're not talking about social injustice and all that. Everything seems like in this few months. Has gone on, right? And so there are people I know that are severely just struggling, not even if we're not talking financially, just emotionally, like where they're headed, what's going to happen. And we've all had those moments in our lives, maybe not in the world, but in our private life. So I want to know a moment that you had like that, where you just thought, okay, this might be the end. Why you laugh? You know, and listen, I don't know about you, but I've been like, Lord, I done came this far.
Listen, I don't know if I thought about the end, but I thought like, whoa, this, I can't take no more. Like, don't put anything else on it, because right now it's already a lot.
Yeah, right.
For me, it was, going through a divorce when my daughter was an infant. I think that no one can prepare you for what that is, and for that experience, and then also making that decision at that time where it's not popular to do. Right, because I mean, there's a lot of factors and there's a lot of opinions, but I think that what I chose when I made that decision was what her life would be like, and what example am I setting for her if I stayed in a situation that that wasn't fulfilling for me, and even though and it has nothing to do with not wanting the best for her, because wanting the best for her is also choosing how she's going to experience me as a mother, and experience our environment, and what that may mean.
Absolutely.
So I think there is that was my first marriage and my first experience, and so in terms of motherhood as well on top of it, so it was a lot at one time. It was incredibly emotional, and I'm required to still show up like this as a beauty professional.
Absolutely.
In spite of all the things that I was going through personally. But you know what? I think that in retrospect, I look back and I say, I had to set what the perception of me, or the image of me, or the woman who has it all.
Yes.
Set that aside.
Yes.
And really focus on the woman, the mother.
Yeah.
That's in the eyes of this young girl. And what that's going to mean to her. And so, I'm showing her resilience and courage. I'm showing her to choose herself first, above all things. And so, I think that was a point where I was like, oof, I don't put nothing else on it, because
I feel like I'm about to tumble over. And here's the other thing. What I learned, I was a single parent for 19 years. I did not remarry, because really my focus was my career and the kids, and making sure that in my way, I probably overcompensated, but that because I was a single parent, but that they would not be affected financially because I was a single parent. So I just worked a whole lot, but it also afforded me to be able to be present with them in a sense.
Yeah.
But what I realized, because I have one daughter and 2 sons.
Okay.
Actually just came out, and she's 26. More is caught than taught. And so the way that we think that it's all about what we say, but it really is about what we show them and what we do.
Yep.
And to be able to show your daughter that you're going to honor yourself first. Because if you stay in something, and I don't know what it was, but if you stay in something that does not fully honor who you are, or what you want, or how you want to be, then what it does is it teaches them as little girls to grow up, and everyone else matters before we do.
Yep. Wasn't going, nope, I was breaking that cycle.
Do you understand what I mean?
All the way down.
Do you understand what I mean? Because I just said today, and I did an interview, and I said, before we are wives, before we are mothers, before we are CEOs, businesswomen, creatives, we are women first, chosen.
Yes.
Do you understand? Yes. And the greatest thing that we can give to our daughters, the youth, other women, is for them to see us show up for ourselves. Yes. And it really just opens the space for them to understand it is okay. It is your God-given right to show up for you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think there's nothing better. Yeah. Yeah. And I know it's tough, even in those decisions. Look at your face. Hold on. I can't do that because I got a little. But you're like,
girl. I'm not. I cannot pretend like it was easy. It was
absolutely.
It was absolutely the hardest thing that I've ever experienced in my entire life.
Yeah.
And it's certainly something that I would never want to go through again, and I won't. Because I took the time to heal and to do the work myself.
Yes, absolutely.
And to understand the whole landscape, so that I can choose better, so that I can be better for me, so, you know, by myself. And then also then, you know, be in a place where I'm happy. And then
period.
The other person can only add value to the
That's what I'm saying, period. You know what I mean? And I think so many times when we don't want to do our work, we look to other people and things to make us happy. But the reality of it is your happiness is on you. That is.
It is. You know, what's dangerous is there's a lot of toxic representations of relationships happening in our culture. You know, from music to, you know,
absolutely
situations, and it's very, very much viral. And I don't think that we're, you know, the young children who are only on social media, they're not reading, you know, they're not on podcasts and things like that as much as we want them to, or influenced by some of that toxic behavior. So we have to, most of the control that we have is in our home.
Yes.
You know, and she's, you know, so she's going to learn all of those values here. Yes. So that she can deflect all of that toxic stuff in the world.
Absolutely. And then, you know, the greatest thing that you can give her is confidence and belief in herself and belief in God, because those are the things that will never fail you. Do you know what I mean? Yes. And I think it took me many, many years to learn that, but I'm like, child, oh, I'm gonna lie. No, if you don't like it now, you ain't gonna like it next week, because it gets worse. Like every day, it's like, you understand what I mean? It's like you just grow and you understand. But that does come from me having done my work, and I think it's a lifelong journey. I am constantly reflecting and doing my work, and I think that that's what we have to do to constantly grow and become better humans, like better for ourselves. You know what I mean? So I think that's amazing that, and it actually shows. It shows in your countenance. It shows in your, like, you got Jesus on your teeth or something. You know what I mean?
Thank you. That's hilarious. Oh, man. Okay. So listen, many of worship music, many of
come on,
you know, Bible scriptures and 31 days of prayer. I mean, listen, I went heavy on the spirituality. I went heavy on the God. I mean, God was already in it, but I went there because I feel like that was also one of the missing pieces of you know, of the relationship. And I think that in business and in your personal life, if God
isn't in it, I just said I was working and I stopped and I said, listen, here's the thing. Here's the vision, but God gave me the vision. I will not do anything that God is not a part of, because the things that he's not a part of, he's not obligated to bless. And I do not want to be in any position where I don't say, God, okay, you told me to, you're obligated to. I don't want to be in that position. So I'm not. I will stop it in my tracks if I feel like, okay, God no longer is a part of it and his hand has lifted. And I mean that. Like I literally mean that. So tell everybody what you're doing right now, the things you're into right now, and then what is ahead for you. So tell us what you're doing right now, and tell everyone what a strategic beauty brand consultant does. How about that?
Yeah. So, I mean, the things that I'm into, you know, right now is obviously, you know, motherhood is first and foremost.
Yes.
But business-wise, you know, the pandemic has allowed me to, you know, really look at my business overall. And prior to the pandemic, I was running my company, the Glam Agency, and formally it still exists. However, you know, with the changes in the, you know, the health changes and all the stipulations, you know, with me being the liability of managing artists and putting them out there, and they're not compliant with getting their own liability insurance and their own protecting themselves so they can protect my business.
Right.
There's just, you know, I had to make a decision to kind of reimagine how I do the business of beauty. Right. But so what I decided to do was I said, you know what? I need to, and I actually started this back in December, because one of the things that I do is I don't do resolutions, I do vision, and I set, I do a personal business plan every year. So I started my personal business plan December 2019, long before I saw this pandemic coming. Right. And that personal business plan really was just about identifying, like, what are my strengths, it's like any traditional business plan is really personalized for me. Right. And I said, you know, what other gifts and strengths do I have? You know, what are my core capabilities, and what are the things that I know that I can add value in the industry? So I put all that together, not really knowing what I was going to do with it. So when the pandemic hit, I realized that it was a perfect time to really pivot back to the brand side of things, where I'm not necessarily in corporate America, but I have a seat at the table. And so now with being able
I'm
to
on seat. Sorry.
Yeah. You're so funny.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Well, you know, what happened is there's this conversation about inclusiveness and, you know, and diversity and inclusion in beauty, and it's becoming more and more and more of a conversation, which, you know, we all know that it should have been, you know, why are we on that in 2020? But we are there. So I said, you know what, I'm not going to sit up here and complain about the problem. I'm going to be a part of the solution. Yeah. I've got an MBA and a BA. I've got 14 years corporate experience, and I've got 7 years of really successful business in beauty. So why don't I marry the two and bring something of value to the table for these brands? This business plan and creating this profile for myself that I then went and talked to some of the brands that I had already been working with. They're sitting in my kit. I didn't spend thousands of dollars on them, you know, so I know all of their nuances. So so that was for me. And then putting back on my corporate hat, you know, I know how to pitch a thing with my eyes closed. I know how to create a marketing plan with my eyes. I know how to analyze things. I know how to make things make sense to them. Because at the end of the day, the brands were saying, okay, well, what's the solution you're going to provide? You know, I don't need another picture from an influencer, you know, and we need real life solutions. And so when I came to them with all these concepts and things, it really stuck. And so, you know, I get the great opportunity to be on the ground level of developing products for some brands. And, you know, in the next few months, you'll be able to see what I've been doing in the lab, literally. And then also I help everyday women realize their vision in beauty. So I have a few clients who are regular women who have absolutely no knowledge of entering into the beauty industry. So I help them to create their own brands. And so there's, you know, whether it be private labeling or you know, product development, I help them to usher them into the industry seamlessly through
and so that is amazing. You know, one of the things as you was talking, I was thinking about, and I want people to know watching, even during this pandemic, if you have lost your job or if things have gone on, everything that you need is right in your hands. It literally has to be like you said. I sat down, I said, okay, what are these things? Where can I add value? Even if it's what am I passionate about? What do I love to do? Because if you have a solution, to someone's question, or if you have the answer, okay, well, there's the value right there. Everything that we need is right. God has given it all to us. It's like we have to tap into it. And in moments like these, even when it's hard, it becomes, okay, let me strap on my boots. And let's see, okay, what is it that I love? Or what, I can do that. Oh, I've been doing this for years. Okay, well, now we're going and put a price tag on it. You're adding value, right? Okay, I have to read this. Melissa is I have to read this to you. Melissa is such a great support with wealth of knowledge. She generally wants to see people succeed. See, this is why I liked you, because I could tell that when I went on, I was like, that was from People of Color Beauty.
Yeah. Jackie, thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Oh, okay, so
she has an amazing, by the way, vegan-based nail polish brand.
Jackie, we need to.
Carrington, you need to talk to her. She's incredible, and she's very passionate. She has a similar story about pivoting from one, you know, realm to the other. And she has 3 beautiful kids, so she's great. She's
okay. So Jackie, DM me. Look, here I go. I'm like, look, I'm looking. You hear that? Hold on. So okay, I want to play this. Dang, this time went by so fast. We like friends now. Don't even worry about it. So it's 7. It's 7:45, right? Okay. Okay. So I have a few minutes.
7:45 your time. Yes.
My time. Oh yeah, I forgot. You're earlier than me.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to. So I'm looking at the time. Like I have 15 minutes. So I have this cute little game. I just want to play. So it's like either or. I'm just always curious how people answer these questions. You ready?
Okay.
You looking like, what is it, Michelle? Don't worry.
It's okay.
Okay. Single or dating?
Dating.
Okay, well, what's
Strategically.
come. Okay. Love or marriage?
Love or marriage?
I'm sorry, no. Love or money?
Oh, both.
Hey, Howard.
That is both. Is both not an option? Howard, what's up, my friend?
No, you could say it. I asked Lisa Ray, and she was like, love, money, both. Okay. Yama said love. Ironically, I don't know. I haven't asked myself this question.
Here's why love is okay to choose love, because
hey, Howard, we know the same people. Hey, Howard. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, Howard is great.
Mm-hmm.
Because married for love. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm a boss. I got my own money, and
come on with it. Okay, sorry. Right, but here's the thing. Let's be clear though. Let's be real clear. Well, actually, it is for love. I think love.
Okay, but I'm not saying love, and then I'm choosing,
Yeah,
Tyrone.
like no. I don't know that anyone. How do I say this? I just won't say it. But here's the reality of it is, I think that it's a partnership. So I think understand what you bring to the table and whatever the other person brings to the table. You know what I mean? And you get to decide if those are things that you want. Like they get to decide to make a great companionship and a partnership. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I think both. Okay,
yeah. So why did I get the option of choosing both, but then you do?
Okay, you could choose both. You could choose both. Because that's what I would have said. I would have said love and money. I don't feel, and I'm a child of God, so I feel like.
Yeah, and money is really about abundance. You know what I mean? That's more so what it is than anything else. Like, I don't want anyone who has a limiting mindset. I'm like, if we can get it, let's get it all. Let's live well.
Absolutely. And you don't have to replace it. What I won't replace money for, like, I think the real bag is your peace and your happiness. So as long as you have that in your purpose, and then you add some good old dollars to it, I mean, it's like, it makes life easier. It makes life easier. You know what I mean? That's what it does. Okay, so makeup or fashion? Would you choose one?
If you know me, you know it's both. It goes hand in hand for me.
Heels or flats?
What?
Come on.
4 or 5 inches on a regular.
Come on, girl. Hey, okay, let me stop playing.
On a regular.
Yeah, that's me.
Even when I'm working during makeup, any of my clients will tell you, Melissa's in heels.
Listen, I was at my dad's the other day because it was his birthday, and I went Sunday, and I walked in with like some 5-inch, well, they end up being 6-inch platforms, and he said, "Do you have to?" It was raining. I said, "I certainly do." He said, "Well, I'm glad. So if anyone was chasing you," I said, "Do you know who my father is?" "No, the real one, like God. You know I got these heels on. Ain't nobody gonna be chasing me in
I run well in heels too. Been doing it.
Come on. Okay, so I have okay, complete this sentence. Will you complete this sentence?
Okay.
Can you looking at me like okay. So I have this thing as I do in closet. So for me, I Chel's closet, like your closet is like a metaphor to our lives. And so I have this thing about removing the things that don't serve you to replace it with the things that do, so that you can reset. And so here's a sentence. And during this quarantine, I've asked everyone this. I'm removing blank out of my life and replacing it with.
Ooh. I'm removing yes out of my life, replacing it with no.
And that's because you feel like you say yes when you should say no?
No, I mean, absolutely. I've overwhelmed myself being everything to everyone at all times. And I get very little, in return. So the supply that I have, I want to reserve it for reciprocity. I want to reserve it for I want to reserve it for my daughter, and it's okay to say no. And I think that for a long time, being the people pleaser and the one that's like, oh, I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings by saying no. I learned I think just through being still and realizing like all the calls and the messages that I didn't get during this time, checking on me while I'm checking on everyone else and all those things. I'm like, okay, I get it.
Yeah. Sometimes it's a hard lesson to learn, you know, but I just said to someone, you do understand that no is a complete sentence. And we need to start honoring someone else's no, right? And they need to honor ours. And if I choose to give you an explanation of why I'm saying no, then feel blessed. But as far as I'm concerned, no is a complete no. Iyanla says, nope, that doesn't work for me. Hell no, nah, like,
I love her. Yeah, absolutely. It's a no for me.
Okay, so the other thing is I talk about us showing up for ourselves and what that means. Just and showing up to me does not mean that you're abandoning anyone else. What it means is you are not willing to abandon yourself for someone else's wants and needs and desires and negate your own. So here's my sentence.
Okay.
I will show up for myself by doing what?
I will show up for myself by honoring every gift, talent that God has placed within me. That's why I say what purpose is not static, it's dynamic. And so if I tap into that and stay tapped in, then there's absolutely limitless. There's nowhere, nothing that I can pivot again and again and again and be all right.
And you still gonna win. You still gonna win. You still gonna win. Come on with it. So tell me, where do you see yourself next? What is next for you? So I know you have some stuff that you said coming out, so we'll see that shortly, right? So we just have to stay tuned.
Yeah.
And then where do you see yourself in the next year? Or do you? Or is what you're doing right now, you're in your fullness of it right now?
You can see my vision board. I mean, I always have a plan. I always have a vision. I always see myself, you know, greater than I am. But as we know, we plan and God has a bigger plan.
Yeah.
But at least start with a plan, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, I have this is my first book, Face Your Beauty.
Come on, Hannah.
So, you're so funny. So definitely next year will be the second book, and so that's an absolute must for me to do.
Yeah.
And I think. And
where can everyone find your book?
Oh, everywhere books are sold, Amazon, Barnes and Noble. Yeah.
Okay, you just say it.
And I'll be happy to
nothing.
I'll be happy to give away one to one of your followers. You just determine how you're going to give it away, but I'll give an autographed copy or two.
Yay! I said you just say that like it's normal. Oh, everywhere books are sold. I mean, Barnes and Nobles, Amazon. I mean, everywhere books are sold. You really think that's? Oh, okay. But anyway, I'm just saying. But anyway, okay. So you'll write another.
Okay,
book.
so there's the second book. So there's that's that. I think that certainly I'm sure that I'll be married again in the next year.
Okay, good. So give me fist pound on that. So maybe I come to yours, you come to mine, because we about to.
I'm sure of it because God loves me that much.
He does. He does. He absolutely does. Yeah, he does.
And business wise, and I'm still not sure if I'm ready for my own product to be out there. Yeah. But what you will see is my hand in a lot of product. What you will see is my impact in the beauty industry, one product at a time. Let's just say that.
Well, thank you so much for coming on and just being a joy and delight. And thank you so much for all the things that you have imparted on here and in your real personal everyday life for helping women to show up for themselves and to see themselves in a way that they wouldn't otherwise see themselves, which changes their lives. Mm-hmm. So I pray continued success for you and that everything that you put your hands, your mouth to prospers. And I know this isn't going to be the last time you're on my live. So if right now, is there anything that you want the viewers, mine, yours, to know about you that they don't know, or anything that you want to tell them before we go?
That they don't know?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I mean, is there a question that you...
Any encouraging words that you want to give during this COVID, or even if it's vote, y'all, you know what I mean?
Yeah, there's that. There's that. Vote, not just vote early, vote now. Vote right.
Yeah.
You know?
Let me see if there are any questions while you're doing that, but I'm listening to you.
I think, at the end of the day, and Sarah Jakes Roberts had a great sermon the other day. And she talked about faith and how it's not just how important it is to have the faith and to hold on to it. And I think that is a mantra that I've tried to have most of my life, and it is certainly one that I live my life by now, especially given where I've come from. And so for the people who are worried about what's going to happen on the other side of this, am I going to be able to do everything that I love? Am I going to be able to live my best life? All that stuff. If God did it before, he'll do it again. And I think that for me has been an absolute theme throughout my life. And even in the darkest moments, like I told you, we talked about that, where I couldn't even breathe sometimes because it was so painful. And I talk a lot about it in my book, and I was transparent about my experience, because I feel like if you don't face your beauty, which is why I titled the book that way, you will never see yourself for fully who you are. Even when things try to strip you away, even when things try to distort how you see yourself, because certain relationships can actually distort how you see yourself.
Absolutely.
You can come into a relationship confident and fly and leave and lost.
Right.
And so my job in this book was saying, don't get lost. Face yourself and honor the best of who you are. And it doesn't mean that you're going to put on lipstick. It means that you're going to actually take it off, peel back the layers, and understand who you really are. So that when you move forward into the next situation, you go into it as a whole person. And so that for me is just that goes in your personal life and your professional life. Just hold on to your faith, honor the best of yourself. And it's okay to get lost, but know that you can find yourself the better you on the other side of all challenges in life.
Absolutely. Well, I think we'll end with that, because you just preached us right on out of our time. Thank you so much. You guys follow Melissa. It's at Melissa Hibbert, Hibbert. And it's that on Facebook too, right?
Yes. It is.
And y'all DM me. I don't know. I will figure out somehow what I'm gonna do so y'all can get get an autographed copy of her book. We'll play some game and do some contests, or I'll figure it out. But thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I certainly appreciate your time. You are as beautiful inside as you are outside. So
thank you so much. Continued success and blessings to you. This platform is what we need. It's at the right time, the right message, and the right person. So.
Oh, you don't make me tear up now. We're going to go now. Thank you so much. I love y'all. I'll be back next Tuesday. Another amazing women full of power and of purpose. Until then, y'all have a great rest of the week and do it on purpose. I love y'all. See you, Melissa.
Bye. Take care.